I'm about to give you are the things that I've learned over my 10 years of falling flat on my face and starting to tell the truth to myself. And this process, these 5 steps, will give you the access to being able to start anything with courage and confidence, and you will be able to start whatever it is that you feel like you've been holding yourself back from. So I want you to get a pen and a piece of paper if you don't have one right now. At some point in time, you're gonna write these puppies down, so you can just listen to me now, rewind it later if you want to, but write these down at some point so you can apply them in your life. And I really would love to hear in the comments about how it worked for you or what it is that you're gonna apply them to get started in your life. So, tip number 1, you wanna move failure from avoid to approach. Failure is something that people are deathly afraid of, and I was so scared of failure. It was like in my nervous system, in my body, like dialed in, like, oh my gosh, failure is not an option. You cannot fail, you can't do that. Don't approach anything if you're not going to be good at it. So when you learn that failure is something that may happen and that you can accept it, and that it's actually a valuable thing, that if you don't bring any resistance to it, you can fail and be able to learn from that, which is something that I'm going to bring you in the next tip. But moving failure from from avoid to approach is going to give you so much power. I just led a weekend retreat this weekend, and in the workshop that I facilitated, one of the participants said during an exercise that we were doing, it's called Old House, New House, and I'll probably talk about that in another episode, but it basically has you look at your old house, what are you leaving behind in the past, and when you're moving into your new house, what are you bringing forward with you? And this participant was so brilliant. She was like, well, I'm noticing that in my old house, failure is there because I was just so fearful and debilitated by failure. But then I noticed that I put failure in the new house too. And I put it there because I'm thinking about it in a way where it's like that failure can serve me. It's like, bring it on. I want to fail so that I can actually move through it and be able to come out stronger in the other end. And I was like, you just made failure your bitch. That's so powerful. I'm going to use categorical language in my videos, so we're all just going to be okay with it. Tip number 2, you want to have a beginner's mind. One of the other most brilliant things that someone ever taught me, and this is actually a Buddhist philosophy, is having a beginner's mind, approaching anything, even if you've done it a million times, with a beginner's mind. Try approaching your spouse or your partner with a beginner's mind. It will allow you to discover this human being newly as though you don't even know anything about them. And that's what you want to do. You want to have, actually, someone else once called it for me, baby eyes. So you have baby eyes in a situation, and it's like you've never done it before. And this allows you to learn so much and be actually getting so curious, and you're almost like in childlike wonderment of the world around you when you have beginner's mind. Not only does it allow you to have more training, more development, more learning, but you also get a lot more joy and pleasure and presence out of whatever it is that you're doing. Tip number 3, debrief everything you do. So anytime you're starting something new, you want to go back over it and you want to have a debrief. You're either going to do the debrief by yourself, or if there was someone else that's involved with the situation or the new thing that you're starting, do a debrief with them. I always think about this one, and I remember it by the Be Kind Rewind. Do you remember when video stores actually existed, like Blockbuster? And they would always say like Be Kind Rewind sticker on the video case. Anyway, you're basically being kind to yourself and rewinding the situation to be able to capture the learning from it. If you can get the learning out of the situation, that is the best collateral you can ever take out of anything new. So I started a new dance class, and this dance class was something that was a risk for me. It was in a new city with new people, and we were doing like kind of risky moves, and it took a lot of vulnerability to participate. And the first class I ever went to, I didn't really talk to anyone. I kind of kept to myself. And I looked at that in my debrief of the situation. And in the next dance class, I challenged myself to talk to 3 new people, learn their names, and start conversations. And that was what I went into the class to do, and that's what I did in that class. And it allowed me to have just such a juicy experience of that particular class and to be able to level up whatever it is that I was approaching. So that's tip number 3. Tip number 4, let go of looking good. Let go of looking good. Have you ever heard the saying, your ego is not your amigo? Well, that is a very valuable thing for you to hold on to, because anytime you're starting something new, your ego will fight tooth and nail to keep you with your mask on. We all have this face, this facade that we try to hold on to. I'm a pro. I'm good at everything I do. I'm blah, 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 insert full of shit line here. But what's really powerful is accepting, I'm gonna look like a beginner. I may not look cool doing this. I once joined an ultimate frisbee team, and I will tell you with certainty, I did not look cool, and I had to be okay with that. Otherwise, I would never have played a single game. But this is the opportunity, is when we pull towards us that, when I post this first YouTube video, when I post my first thing on Facebook, when I put my first piece of writing out there, whatever it might be, anytime you're creating or putting yourself at risk, there is this like resistance that your ego brings towards it because of trying to look good. So make peace with, you may not look good in this situation. You may not, but realistically from the outside, anytime you're starting something new, you actually do look great. You look courageous, and you look powerful, and you look free to do whatever it is that you want to do. So be proud of yourself for starting something new, and don't let that shit stop you. Tip number 5, my favorite thing to tell my clients and myself is to have some grace, some space, and some compassion for yourself. Anytime you're starting anything new, anytime you may be in a challenging situation and you may have that negative self-talk going on, you always want to create the opportunity for you to have grace with yourself, make some space for you to be however it is that you are, and have compassion. And for me, compassion really means self-love. Once someone asked me this really amazing question: be in the inquiry of what it looks like to have compassion for yourself. Ask yourself, what does it look like to have compassion for myself? And then I would just love to hear in the comments how these tips work for you, what you discover out of what it looks like to be compassionate for yourself. What's the thing that you're starting in your life? Comment below. Please make sure that you subscribe to this channel. I am so excited to keep being a beginner at this until I don't suck. And I hope that you took something of value out of it. And I am looking forward to many more. Love ya.